Hey everybody, I'm Monty, and Channel 5 is reporting that traditionally families gather together in the kitchen of their homes to mix and steam Christmas pudding on Stir Up Sunday, the last Sunday before Advent. Everyone takes a turn to stir the pudding mix and make a special wish for the year ahead. Who do that? Does anybody? Who do that? Where y'all do that at? Because we don't have Christmas pudding around my way. We don't take a turn and stir nothing up. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I wasn't even allowed in the kitchen until I was 19 years old. So I don't. Yeah, takes a turn to stir the pudding and make a special wish for the year ahead. Listen. If you do it, please holler at me. I've never heard of that in my life. I don't know what region this is. I don't know if that's something y'all do that in Rhode Island. I got some Rhode Island people. Yeah, I never heard of that before. But okay, guys. Day 5 on the 12 days of podcasting, and guys, that we're gonna more than likely have some more festive shows coming. But this show I was not gonna plan to do, but I feel like I saw this for a reason, and so I'm just gonna do it today because this one really hit me hard with this story here. I was online on social media, and somebody posted a clip from a news show, and I guess this was 60 Minutes Australia, or some sort of news show, and it was talking about rehoming, which I didn't know what that was at the time. And the clip, it shows these children in like this big hall or this big room or whatever, like a gymnasium or something. There's a runway, a little carpeted runway, and the children are walking up and down. So I was like, oh, this is like a little kids fashion show, and there's adults all sitting there on either side, like a fashion show thing. And as the narrator is talking, they're saying that these children are in foster care, or they're in in an orphanage or whatever, and they're trying to find what they call them forever home, a foster child that's trying to be adopted and trying to find their forever home, and so the kids were literally, and there was a lady on the mic like saying, this is Bobby and he's 12 and he's this and this and that, and then this is Sarah and she's 9. And the kids were literally walking up and down. I've never seen nothing like that before. And so initially I said, this is not real. This is a joke. But the person that posted it usually don't post that kind of stuff. And so I had to really do I said, this can't be real. And everybody in the comments was saying, this is not a real thing. And I started to do some research. And then I found the actual episode. I watched the episode. It still didn't seem real. So basically, again, everybody, when you adopt and things like that, and most people want to adopt newborns, but some kids don't get adopted. And again, very scattered statistics that I saw, but basically for every one kid that's adopted, at least 2, maybe 2.5 to 3 don't. So so what do those kids do? You know what I'm saying? They just end up going on the system, but I don't know how many people are, what the market, if you will, is for like a 9-year-old or a 12-year-old. And so anyway, I'm watching the show, and it's so eerie. Like, these kids are trying to sell themselves to all these adults in this room, which I just feel like a child should not be put in that position to even be doing that. Like, there has to be a better way to meet the kid. And I understand, like, if you want to adopt a child, that's a very serious thing. You want to get to know the child, and that the people that are adopting the kids, they have every right to want to kind of vet as well as, and I'm gonna get to the other side in a minute. But so I understand that, but to just have the kids walk up and down a runway and they're like all this and posing and stuff, like I'm gonna put the episode in the link description for this. So I implore you to watch this. So it goes on, and so they were talking, like, there's one guy that he was there. It was just, and he was just sitting there, and he was looking, and there was a a young man. He's about 14, and he was looking for his forever home. And the thing is, the guy came, and the guy said, "Well, he was just so nonchalant about it." He's like, "Yeah, I'll just see if something clicks." And he's like, and then he said, "If it doesn't, you know, no, nothing won, nothing lost. It just kind of like that." And immediately, I just was like, "No, no, something. If it doesn't work out, that kid is gonna be crushed." And so the 14-year-old boy that kind of did the runway thing, they got paired up and they talked, and he adopted him. But then, like 90 days later, he brought him back like it's not a good match. And the kid had already been adopted before in his life and brought back. Come on, man. That's not nothing gained, nothing. No. What's that going to do to that young man? Like, he wants to belong to somebody. You know what I'm saying? He already was given up for adoption, already given back once, and now you giving him back. And the guy was just so nonchalant about it. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. So further on in the episode, of course, unfortunately, they get into kind of even the worst parts about this. So this rehoming thing, I guess if you're and I'm going, first of all, and I should have said this to begin with, I am working to get an expert on there. I'm trying to line up an interview now because I don't know enough about this, and I want to bring someone on who truly knows about it. And there's somebody I'm reaching out to now, and hopefully I'll hear a response. And as soon as I can, I will have that person on to talk about this. But anyway, what I understand is that within the foster care system, if you don't want the child anymore and maybe don't want to go through whatever it takes to put them back in an orphanage or whatever, you can just give them to another foster home. And there's not really much, or another set of foster parents. I should say that. Yeah, there's foster homes, but when they go to parents, one set of parents can basically just give the child to another set of parents with not much litigation, hardly no paperwork, no vetting. And the story goes on in the newscast to talk about how, yeah, this young girl was just basically, it's so heartbreaking. She basically was given to this husband and wife who were pedophiles. And the thing that breaks your heart, the young girl is a little older now, and she's talking about it. And she said her foster parents, who she only knew as her parents, so they obviously had adopted her very young. They told her they were taking her on a trip, like we're going on a family trip. And then they just left her with a new set of people and then drove off. And then these people were, and the living conditions are horrible. How could you drop this child off on such horrible? And the two people she dropped them off with, you can watch more of it. They're now currently serving 40 years in prison for child molestation and things like that. But it was just so easy to just, okay, I know to adopt initially is a lot that goes on to it, but I guess in this foster care system, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I really could not believe what I was seeing. And so what happened was, and here's another part of it. So the foster parents of the girl originally, they went on a Facebook group. So there's a Facebook group that means well, from what I understand, of trying to connect, children to foster homes, good foster homes and all that. And this couple who were the child molesters, who originally had their own biological children taken from them, but nobody, there's the paper trail just ran out and nobody knew about it. They came on that site, on the Facebook group, just trying to pretend like they were just, oh, we would love to have a loving, all that. And that's how it hooked up. So what happened was, there was a lady that was already suspicious of these people. And God bless this lady. Again, please watch this, y'all, and y'all see it. She was already suspicious of this couple. And so she was on their every move they were doing online. And when they got to that group, by the time she found them in the group, the lady that ran the group had already kind of connected the parents of the girl to the new people who were the molesters. And so they gave her to them. And by the time the lady watching the couple, she told the lady over the group, no. This is who they really are. The lady running the Facebook group says, I called her parents that had dropped her off and told them who they had dropped her off with and to go back and get her, and they would not. What? I, I don't know, y'all. Like, I couldn't believe that. And so this woman who was over the Facebook group was felt so. It's like, oh my God, I just gave this child to a monster. She drove hours and hours and confronted the couple and basically got the girl out of there. And unfortunately, the girl she'd already endured some horrors. I don't know, the 2 or 3 weeks she was with him. She had to find and literally thank God for this woman. And now she's adopted. It was a girl and a boy. She adopted the girl and the boy went to another hand. But I don't truly know this world good enough. That's why I want to really talk to somebody who does. But I just can't believe how easy it is to just swap kids and trade kids and then these kids in the system. Again, that's why too, I don't, to even give up a child, I understand there's some extenuating circumstances and, not every person that's giving up their child for adoption wants to do it. They're in bad situations. They might feel like giving that child up is better for the child because they'll have a better opportunity. And that happens sometimes. But people, I want you to be very cognizant of the other side of this, that giving your child up for adoption, number one, does not mean they will get adopted all the time. The way you do it, depending on how you do it. And number two, they could end up with some real monsters, which is why you have to be very responsible with, that's another conversation we can have about just, bringing children into this world. But that's one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen, to watch these kids model themselves in front of a room full of people. Again, I'm not saying that if you're looking to adopt a child, you shouldn't be able to meet the children and all that, but I just didn't like how that looked. Like, they were just like it was like an auction, just like they were just objects, as if I'm bidding on, getting a new couch or something. Like, I don't know, what's the price on what's her, absolutely not. That has to change. That can't be how we keep doing that. Number one, because you a kid. You 8 years old. Okay, go present yourself to this group of strangers and act right. And so what if I don't get picked? The kid is going to feel even worse then. Like, that is just, oh my God. And I understand, we can't adopt every kid that, no one person has that capacity. One of the ladies talking, she's got like 5 adopted kids. God bless her. But it's just so much to unpack with that. Please, y'all. Please watch. I promise you, the link is in there right now. Stop listening to me. Watch that show. I don't know. That just really shook me to see that. And then to see how easy it is to just, yep, this foster parent don't want them, y'all take them. There's no vetting. This couple literally lost their kids. It's on record and nobody knew. Nobody knew how to access that. If not, and the crazy part is, after that girl's story, it said it still took almost 10 years from the first lady that was tracking that couple for the FBI to finally arrest them and bring the charges up. Like 10 years. And they were just going across the country, just picking up kids, abusing them, picking them, dropping them back. It is, you know what I mean? And then it's like, if we just extrapolate a little bit, like they got to go back to that young man that was 14. Oh, boy, what is he supposed to be? How is he supposed to adjust to real life? Because once you're an adult, you don't stay at the fault. You got to go. You know what I mean? You got to go out into the world and be an adult. How's he supposed to adjust? How's he supposed to be like a regular person in society? Not saying that he can't be, but the hurdles that he's facing are so much. He's got no sense of who he truly is. Feels like nobody wants him. That doesn't feel like it. It is. Nobody wants him. How's he supposed to navigate this world with all that stuff? And he was a young black boy. And again, people have done it, but it's still like, I don't know, y'all. Again, I'm kind of just rambling on this because I watched it. I saw the first clip like 2 days ago, and then I researched, found it, and this is just something, and it's something that regular people might not have no idea about. I know people there's kids in foster care. I understand that. I know about people being adopted and you got a vet and all that and there's things like that and that. But this rehoming thing, never heard of it before, and just to see what those kids were doing, and I mean, the sweetest looking little kids just trying to find somebody to take them in. Like what are we doing, y'all? Like, I mean, it just has to be a better way of it to happen. I hate that kids even have to go in that system. And it's not just from people get, sometimes, if there's an accident, the parents die and there's no next of kin, kids got to go to foster care. It just, but the system is just really letting these kids down with this rehoming thing. So yeah, this Christmas season, y'all, and even now, just any season, whenever you see this, man, say a prayer for a lot of these kids that are just in the fall, because it just hurts, because it ain't the kids' fault. They didn't ask for this. They didn't ask to be brought in this world this way. You know what I'm saying? So what? I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to fix that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really want to get this interview in. Hopefully I can, but it is, it make sure, I mean, when you watch it, you're going to feel how I feel when you watch that. 'Cause it's just like, my God, make sure, I mean, and it makes you thankful, for what you have and the things that, we kind of take for granted, but especially around Christmas, I know those kids are desperate to find a home, and my God, to take the boy in and then give him back again, and what y'all gonna see. Y'all watch it, y'all gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. But and for those great foster parents and adoptive parents, shout out to y'all, because you didn't have to do that, but you did, and it is greatly appreciated. It's a noble gesture. It is. I mean, I've always been appreciative of it, but watching what I just watched for the good ones, I'm triply, quadruple appreciative to y'all, because my God, I mean, again, and I'm not saying it's an easy thing to bring a child in your home. Everybody wants a newborn, because then you can kind of, train them up the way, I don't know, 8, 9, they didn't been through some stuff. They might not act right. Well, why? Of course, they might not, but look what they've been through. That's what I was getting with that young man. I hope he turns out to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever. But if he has some problems, God forbid, everybody just gonna be like, see, just when them black boys don't know how to act. But man, you don't know what he been through. Hey, he looked like looked like just a fine young man, And the guy said, yeah, we weren't compatible. If you ain't serious about doing it, fam, don't do that. Don't do that to no child. If you're not really compatible, listen, you take a child in, you need to work. Ain't no 90 days and letting him go again. Come on now. Be serious about that. But yeah, shout out to those that are doing the right thing, man. Prayers up for those that are waiting for adoption, those young kids. And this, and let me maybe I wasn't clear. This is in America. This is not in another. I know it was an Australian newscast, but they were talking about what was happening in America. So God knows what's happening in third world countries with all that stuff. Who knows? So yeah, let's please be remembering the kids, because it's Christmas time, very much so. So yeah, guys, that's the show. I got some more coming up. Got a couple more guests, and we're gonna try to keep it a little more festive and Christmassy. But again, if you watched it and you come back to this now and you finished with me, you know what I'm talking about now. Because yeah. Unbelievable. But prayers out, and guys, you know what I want you to do. You know what I want you to do on day 5 golden rings. I want you to be blessed. Stay sharp.